Hi, this is Madeleine from Sonic Bloom, and today we're going to have a look at the Arpeggiator and specifically what tricks you can use with it for creating drums and percussion patterns. Okay, so the first trick I want to show you is about arpeggiated detuned drum sounds, and I'm going to show you in a second what I mean by that. I already have a drum kit from the core library loaded in the MIDI track, and the first thing we're going to do is create a MIDI clip by double clicking, and then we're going to click here and drag this out, so we're going to have a long note, and then we can switch back into the device view and go grab the default preset of the arpeggiator, which is fine for what we want. And I'm going to focus here on the transpose section. I'm going to set this to 3 steps. So that means it's going to be transposed 3 times according to what is set here at distance. So right now it would be transposed up 3 times by an octave because that's 12 semitones. And I'm going to take it down to -2. But of course you can play around with these settings for what you like to achieve sound-wise and just have fun with it. And I'm going to turn this off, and so we can listen to what the kick sounds originally. And then with this arpeggiator in. So you can hear that it's continuously tuned down, which I think is can be a very nice effect to create atmosphere, but it still sounds a little bit static. So what I want to do is add more dynamics. So I'm going to turn this on, and then I'm going to first set a decay, which controls how long it's going to take until the set target rate down here is reached. So I'm going to set this to around maybe 588 milliseconds. And then take this off fairly low, and now we can listen again what this does. The second trick is about being able to jam complex hi-hat patterns easily. And so what we first need is an empty drum rack, and then we're going to need a hi-hat that sounds quite nice. Yeah, I'm going to take this one, and then I'm going to go and grab the arpeggiator again, and then we're going to set this to 0 because we do not want to have steps or like anything transposed. And then we're going to take this, press the Option key, and then drag to duplicate this. And then the first one I'm going to leave maybe set to 16th. Second, 8th is fine. Maybe 4th. That maybe to 32nd notes. And then we could do something like triplets as well. And then we can simply jam this. Trick 3 is about creating more realistic hi-hat patterns with the help of the arpeggiator. And for this, we're going to need an empty drum rack that I'm just going to drop in here. And then I've already selected 5 hi-hat sounds that are kind of similar. And I'm going to drop them in one by one into drum pads. Okay. Now next, we're going to double click and create a MIDI clip this way. And then I'm adding a MIDI note for each of them. And then use the legato to stretch them all throughout the clip. And right now this sounds like this because they're all playing at once, which of course isn't what we want, but it's the starting point. And then next up, we're going to have to grab the arpeggiator, double click to add it in front of the drum rack. And then first off, we're going to set the rate to 16th notes. And we can just start playing it and see how we like that. And then of course, right now I've got the style set to up, so it's just playing from the lowest note up to the highest, which is okay, but it's still very predictable. And what I would like to choose is random other, because then it means it will play a random next note except for the one that's currently playing, so that we're not repeating the same hi-hat sound. And then what we could also do is use the velocity settings to kind of adjust them a little bit. So this gives an emphasis on the first one and then slowly decays over a second to a target of 64 for the velocity. And last but not least, we could also see if we like a different groove pattern apart from straight. So for example, we could do swing 16th, which gives a bit more of a jazzy feel, of course. So now let's look at how we can create instant percussive patterns without much effort. And so I've got a percussion drum kit from Live 11 core library in here already. And what we're going to do next is create a MIDI clip by double clicking. We're going to go down and create MIDI notes here, and then press legato so that they spread out throughout the whole length of the MIDI clip. And we're going to switch back to the device view, and then we're going to double click and add the arpeggiator in front. And of course I could have added more MIDI notes in the clip, and so let's listen to what it is at the moment. So this is the variation we get, but we can also use steps and distance to create patterns and generate different notes. And so for example, if I set it to that, turn the speed up a bit, and so I set the rate. And then we could try different styles as well. Or random, other. If you want it to be more diverse. And this is how you already have a pattern. And tip number 5, we can always also automate the arpeggiator parameters to create more variation. And so in this example with the percussion, I would try and automate the distance, so the transpose distance, and also the sync rate as a starting point. So let's start playback and recording. Right, so this is an example. Let's go out of the recording. And another thing we could also try is to use the beat retrigger settings. That would give even more interesting patterns, but if you overdo it, it could start sounding too extreme and unnatural as well. And I'm just going to show you. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And if you have a question, leave it below in the comments, and also let me know if there's any other topic you'd like me to cover in the future. Bye!